This is your weekly IUP TV news bulletin broadcasted from Davis Hall. My name is Kyle Bernstein.
And my name is Samantha McGill. We're bringing you news that is relevant to IUP and the Indiana community, with news related to women's accomplishments, Women's History Month, and other interesting stories.
Let's begin with local news. Police caught 4 men involved in a shooting near IUP's campus 2 weeks ago. IUP has confirmed that 3 of the 4 men were students. The first was found after he's seen on security footage at the local Sheets. He was later captured at the Arch Apartments in Indiana on Grove Lane. The 4 men have all been detained.
Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education Chancellor Dan Greenstein will speak in front of Pennsylvania senators in Harrisburg in an attempt to raise more funding for state schools. He's asking for a 2% increase in funding, which equates to $487 million for the next school year. The money will go towards a system redesigned for information sharing between all state schools, as well as other accountability tools.
Pittsburgh was recently named among the best cities for the St. Patrick's Day celebration. They ranked 4th behind only Chicago, Boston, and Philadelphia. This decision was based on factors such as the Irish population, the number of Irish pubs and restaurants, as well as access to bars.
A privately ran state laboratory in Pennsylvania has received funding to begin testing for coronavirus. The Philadelphia-based lab can run 6 tests per day, significantly reducing the result and care times for potential victims of the virus. There have been 100 confirmed cases and 6 deaths in the United States, none of which are in Pennsylvania.
Let's move to national news. Deadly storms and tornadoes tore through the middle of Tennessee this week. At least 25 people have died due to the storm. It is still unclear how many tornadoes are in the area, and this storm also caused 48 buildings to collapse in Nashville. Due to these storms, Super Tuesday voting has been delayed in Tennessee.
Former Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar have united in support behind Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. Buttigieg just ended his campaign this Sunday, and Klobuchar ended hers this Monday. Klobuchar stated that a unified party is crucial if the Democrats want to beat President Trump in the upcoming election.
The British authorities have laid out plans Tuesday to confront the spread of the coronavirus. There have been 51 confirmed cases in the UK. UK officials stated that the virus could spread from a few dozen cases to millions. Officials are hoping drastic measures will not have to be taken. However, unlike France or Italy, the UK has not taken social action. Health officials have advised people to travel and work as usual.
Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to refine the Constitution to make marriage a union between a man and woman, ruling out gay marriage. This is just one of the constitutional amendments proposed by Putin that will be set to a public vote. Other proposed amendments include a ban on giving away Russian land, as well as a Russian's faith in God.
When we come back, we'll bring you stories related to women's accomplishments and Women's History Month. Stay tuned.
Receiving a Jefferson Award for public service was an honor I will always cherish. I've known since I was very young that I wanted to help make a difference, but I didn't create an organization to win an award. I did it because as a teacher, I believe all kids deserve a good start and a shot at high achievement. I'm April King, a graduate of Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Get my story at iup.edu.
March is Women's History Month. What better way to celebrate the month by thinking of accomplished women around us? Anaya Pinckney has the story.
Dr. Malika Turner is the Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs here at IUP. Dr. Turner is an IUP graduate and has worked here for 22 years. From being a residence director at our Punxsutawney campus to now Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs, she's continued to break barriers and elevate in her field.
I think that some challenges that I've faced in my new position as the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs is transitioning from one area in the university to another. I think also the learning curve. I think there's an opportunity to learn here, but you also have to keep moving and keep up with the pace and the accomplishments and the goals that are set from day to day and from week to week.
Dr. Turner is passionate about women empowerment and speaks at events throughout campus to encourage women. In the #MeToo era, equality continues to be an issue in the workplace. Women are becoming more vocal about their injustices. International Women's History Day is March 8th, but we set aside the entire month of March as International Women's History Month to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women.
It's really important to celebrate the accomplishments of women in March because of the fight or I like to call it the press, that women have had over time to be in positions as senior leaders, CEOs, presidents, CFOs, managers. This is something that is very much an accomplishment and took a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work for women, a lot of tears.
To further educate and encourage women, Dr. Turner has written a book, Walking in Step with God on Purpose, and created the Pivot podcast.
I would advise women on how to overcome challenges in the workplace by first saying you want to know who you are, right? Know thyself. What are your strengths? Be able to explain them and talk through them. And also soak up every bit of knowledge that you can.
Women's History Month was created to celebrate women who have paved the way and influenced everyday life in America. Whether it be a day or a month, it's important for us to stop and remember women who have impacted society. This is Anaya Pinkney reporting for IUP TV News.
International Women's Day will take place this Sunday, March 8th. This year, the day acts as a reminder for important issues such as pay gap and equality. Vanaya Mason has her story.
Dr. Melissa Swagger, an IUP psychology professor and director of IUP's Commission on Women, partnered with AAUW to tackle the issue of fair compensation and negotiating wages.
Importance of the wage gap. Okay, so the wage gap, as we talked about in the workshop, is a historical gap between the wages that men and women make in our country, and the wage gap has not been reduced in more than 30 years. So we've kind of hit a standstill in closing this wage gap. The gap is even more significant for women of color compared to white men, and currently the overall gap is about 80 cents to the dollar.
Even though the gender wage gap has decreased over time, there is still a substantial difference between what men are making and what women are making. White women are only making 70 cents to the dollar of their white male counterparts, and this statistic worsens as we look within other ethnic minorities. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, Black women are the most educated population of people by race and gender in the United States. They account for more than 71% of all master's degrees and 65% of all doctorate's degrees, yet they only make on average 61 cents to the dollar of a white man. Similarly to Black women, Hispanic women are paid significantly less than white men. The pay gap generally widening for Hispanic women among academic advancement in degrees. I talked to some of the attendees to see what they find most important.
Something that I took from this program today was that I should not just blurt out a salary. I should I should base it off of what the employer says and then negotiate from there.
I think something that I got from this workshop was, well, now that I finished it, the ability to negotiate my wage fairly. I think every woman everywhere across the world deserves equal and equitable wage, but I think the most important thing I got here was just to be confident in negotiating and know that it is my place as a woman to be able to make as much money as my male counterparts, especially going into STEM. I think it's really important to be able to identify those differences and the unique skill sets that we bring. So just gain some confidence.
I think some of the takeaway points are that that employers expect that you will negotiate with them, and that the best way to go about asking for those things is to make a case for yourself, and you make that case by being really prepared, by doing your research and rehearsing, and not feeling bad when you're negotiating for yourself.
This is Vanaya Mason with IUP TV News.
Still about International Women's Day, Taylor Jones brings a story related to two women chefs who bring Thai flavors to Indiana. Yeah, I'm sorry. Still about International Women's Day, Taylor Jones brings a story related to two women chefs who bring Thai flavors to Indiana.
Over 10,000 students attend Indiana University of Pennsylvania. With this amount of people, there's available restaurants in Indiana such as Mexican, Italian, Mediterranean, and Thai.
Personally, I wish that we had a bit more. I'm a little spoiled being from DC, and we have all these different options, but I'm actually a huge fan of the Thai restaurants here.
Turok Thai serves authentic Thai cuisine that focuses on pleasant components with a spicy edge. A typical Thai meal includes 4 main seasonings: salty, sweet, sour, and spicy, along with fresh vegetables, rice, and of course, noodles.
First time I opened here, no Thai restaurant, and I am very good cook chef in Thailand. And here I work another restaurant for 3 years in Pittsburgh, and I want to own Thai restaurant.
Her love for cooking brought Tui, the owner, all the way from Thailand. Prior to opening her restaurant, she owned a similar restaurant for 10 years. Thai food is internationally famous. According to the Tasting Table, the number of Thai restaurants in the U.S. has increased from roughly 2,000 to more than 5,000. One thing for sure, it adds benefits not only to students but also to the community.
I just think it's so important for a small town like this in western Pennsylvania to have foods and experience cultures from around the world. Those of us who live here, I think we really appreciate being able to eat food like this, and it really makes it a more interesting place to live.
There are at least 2 other Thai restaurants in the area. However, for Pat, the co-owner of the restaurant, pleasing the customers with quality food is more of a priority.
We will not compete to anyone. We compete it with ourselves. Because the more good food you represent it to customer, the more quality you serve, the best service that you can give to customers, that's all we need. We don't compete to anyone, we just do what we have to do to make people happy.
After 7 years of having Turok Thai and moving to a closer location to campus, it can bring challenges sometimes, but the restaurant will expand to its new location in Johnstown very soon. This is Taylor Jones reporting for IUP TV News.
With high excitement for spring break, universities around the world continue to update on what students and staff are required. IUP has added travel warnings to include not only China, but also Italy and South Korea. A lot of IUP students will travel locally, while others will stay in town. Cade Burdett has a story on how students plan to spend their time during this break.
The spring break period is quickly approaching for IUP students. It is a time for students to step away from all of the schoolwork and to refresh their minds. When you envision spring break, do you see you and your friends enjoying a nice fun day at the beach? Or do you see yourself in bed, catching up on all the missed sleep from the grueling past weeks of school?
You're going to have a lot of sleep to catch up on, because I know with the schools and the extracurricular stuff, I haven't been sleeping right, so finally going to get my sleep schedule right.
Midterm season is upon us here at IUP, and a great amount of schoolwork sits between IUP students and spring break. The ability to perform well academically in classes during midterm week requires a lot of mental stimulation and a lack of sleep.
The most stressful thing about school right now is trying to get through exams. Spring break time, it's midterms, and it's kind of piled into 2 weeks at a time, so that's probably the most stressful thing right now.
As we know, college students enjoy socializing with their peers, but with the loads of homework being thrown their way, they aren't able to make much time for socialization. This may motivate college students to participate in more social activities over spring break. As many students around the world are preparing to travel during the spring break period, others are choosing to stick back, taking precautionary measures as the global phenomenon known as the coronavirus continues to spread. In addition, many colleges around the world have suspended their study abroad programs in fear of the coronavirus in countries such as Italy. Though, while many are motivated to halt their travel plans due to the spreading of the coronavirus, many college students are making the responsible decision to take advantage of the time away to catch up on sleep and regain any lost energy.
When I go on spring break, I don't even like to go on vacation anymore, because when you come back, it's so hard to get back in the groove of things. But you need to, if you reload and stuff, then you'll feel better. But after you get drunk every day, it's not gonna be good for you, because it's hard to come back after that.
Students are set to go their separate ways for the week of March 9th through the 13th.
I'm actually going down to Myrtle Beach to see my brother play. He plays college baseball down there, so meet my family down there and hopefully have a good time.
As midterm season wraps up, students have their eyes set on spring break and the plans ahead. Students hope to return to IUP with revamped energy, ready to chase academic success as the spring semester begins to wind down. This is Cade Burdett reporting for IUP TV News.
Coming up, Luke Smeltz will bring you sports news. Stay tuned.
The Communications, Media, and Instructional Technology PhD program gave my life direction. This program was perfect for me with a combination of research and media production. Hands-on courses gave me skills that I now pass on to my students. I use all three areas of the program, production, theory, and research, every day in my job as a college professor.
Learn how the CMIT PhD program can change your life. Visit iup.edu/CMIT.
I fell in love with the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
It was a tough weekend for the IUP baseball team, who traveled to East Stroudsburg but had their weekend games canceled due to weather. Rather than wasting a trip, IUP added 2 games against East Stroudsburg for Monday. IUP lost Game 1 11-0 and dropped Game 2 15-1. This brings IUP to an 0-6 start on the season, with things not getting easier in the foreseeable future. IUP travels to Cary, North Carolina over spring break to play a doubleheader against West Chester, the 2017 national champions. In other IUP sports news, it was senior night on Saturday for the men's and women's basketball teams. They took on UPJ in a game that held no importance to the playoff standings for either IUP basketball team. But it was a big game for the seniors playing in their final regular season game at the KCAC. For a recap of the women's game, here's Tristan Borland.
The women's basketball team ended the season on a high note with a victory over Pitt Johnstown Mountain Cats. The first quarter of the game was all about the Crimson Hawks, with IUP having the double-digit lead at the end of the first quarter. Seniors Lexi Griggs and Natalie Myers had 7 and 6 points respectively.
Runs inside, passing it off to shooter open. And that is 3, counted for Natalie Myers.
Great. The second quarter was tighter than the first, with UPJ being able to close the scoring gap and went into the locker room at halftimes with the score sitting at 29-24 in favor of IUP. This lead would eventually vanish as IUP would go through the second and third quarters with a shooting percentage of 33% and 8 turnovers. With UPJ outscoring the Hawks 30-26, the Mountain Cats went into the fourth quarter with the lead and the score sitting at 46-42.
Lots of passing for the Crimson Hawks. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Shot taken by Lexi Griggs, and she is automatic.
The fourth quarter was where the Crimson Hawks would retake the momentum. Courtney Alexander shot back-to-back three-pointers to help the Hawks take the lead away from UPJ.
Courtney Alexander, a wide 3. But of course, who else but the number 3 PSAC three-point shooter to make it? Cardona to Griggs. Griggs stepping inside. And 3 more for Courtney Alexander.
A stellar defense from IUP would lead to UPJ not making a single field goal until there were 4 minutes 55 seconds left in the game. All of this, along with IUP outscoring UPJ 22-5 in the fourth quarter, is why IUP would stand victorious at the end of the game. The final score was IUP 68, UPJ 48. Due to her contributing 19 points to the Crimson Hawks' final score, senior Lexi Griggs was awarded Player of the Game honors. Crimson Hawks are now into the playoffs with a home court advantage in the second round and their heads held high to play Cal U on March 4th.
The IUP Women's Player of the Game was Lexi Griggs. Kaylee Wenderoth has the story.
Number 40, a 5'10" senior from Pittsburgh, Lexi Griggs.
Saturday, Lexi Griggs led IUP's offensive attack against Slippery Rock with 21 points as the 5th-ranked women's team defeated the Rock 77-48. She shot an efficient 7 of 9 from the floor, made both three-point attempts, and was a perfect 5 of 5 from the foul line. I was able to talk to her post-game about going into the game and the next game on the road against Cal U.
So you guys have never lost a slip. This is the 20th straight win against them. Do you ever think about that going into the game?
No, we just take it game by game. Each game, we don't think about who's on the other side. We just try to do what we do best.
And how are you and the team going to prepare for the road game at Cal next week?
We're going to just prepare by, like I said, we're going to just focus on us, but also we know they're tough competitors, so we're going to just study them a little bit.
For the IUP men's basketball recap, we go to Elliot Hicks.
The final regular season home game for IUP men's basketball brought Pitt Johnstown to town for one last tune-up before the PSAC tournament. The Hawks got rolling quickly, with usual suspects Malik Miller and Armani Foster scoring early points.
2 minutes gone from the KCAC, even at 2. Malik goes for the three, puts it through. Malik Miller's first three of the night puts IUP up 5-2.
Pitt Johnstown, who earned the number 3 seed from the West for the tournament, had a very competitive first half, keeping things close until the last few minutes, when the Hawks took a 14-point lead into the locker room at halftime.
Malik Miller is looking for anything there. Armani Foster is going to throw it up and put it through. Sometimes it's the things you least expect.
In the early part of the second half, big plays from the 2 seniors being honored, Miller and Chucky Humphreys, helped the Hawks start to pull away even further. Dave Morris and Foster supported their senior teammates with big games, and when Humphreys lit up the crowd late, it was all but over.
Armani Foster has it for the Hawks. Goes to Chucky Humphreys. He's feeling good. He's going for 3 and he sinks it.
A run of 5 straight three-pointers got UPJ closer at the end, but the final score favored IUP 93-82. For IUP TV Sports, I'm Elliot Hicks.
Looking ahead, both the IUP men's and women's teams will be the #1 overall seed in their respected PSAC tournaments. Both teams open the tournament against Cal U. With IUP TV, I'm Luke Smeltz.
When I was in high school, I didn't know where I wanted to go to college. But I did know I wanted a major with job potential, and a campus that felt like the right place for me. I chose IUP. I'm studying on a beautiful campus with great professors who focus on student success and 140 academic majors. I'm Megan Spangler. I study nursing. Find your success at IUP.
With the weather reports, here is Graham Drungle.
Hello, my name is Graham Drungle, and this is your weekly weather update. Tonight, there is a 57% chance of snow with a high of 50 and a low of 35. Tomorrow will be cloudy and windy with a 65% chance of snow and a high of 41. Tomorrow night, we'll have a couple flurries with a low of 26 and a 59% chance of rain. Now it's time for our 5-day forecast. Saturday will be sunny with some clouds. Sunday will be sunny, and Monday will be cloudy. Tuesday will be cloudy as well, and with a little chance of rain. Wednesday will be more of the same. This has been Graham Drungle with your weekly weather update, and back to you, Sam and Kyle.
If you travel locally and plan to take the buses, the spring break buses will depart March 6th at 3 p.m. from the Hub parking lot. Make sure you secure your spot.
When we get back to school, advising sessions will take place to get ready for class registration beginning at the end of March. Of course, a few interesting activities to attend on Monday, March 16th. The Haven Project and One Love Foundation will screen a short film titled Escalation. The film covers topics of dating violence based off of the true story. After the film, there will be a guided discussion on the show.
That's all the news that we have for this week. We will not be here next week due to spring break. Sam and myself will be passing the torch to our wonderful new hosts, Liam Noble and Anaya Pinckney. I would like to say thank you for having us, Indiana. My name is Kyle Bernstein.
And thank you, my name is Samantha McGill. Tune in 2 weeks for exciting local stories on business and St. Paddy's Day. Have a safe spring break, Hawks.